The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello, beautiful souls. It's Betty Ray, and we're here to answer your questions through an archangel called Raphael. It is our joy to have this opportunity to speak to you this way and to have you speak back to me by writing in the chat room any of your questions. It has been a rather hectic week for me here, and I put up a new screen room and found out I had termites. And then found out I had a leak in my roof. And so it's been head spinning when I look at all the things that can happen and change. But I have a beautiful screen room on the back of my house here in Florida. And then, of course, the weather drops down into the 50s. Wouldn't you know? But soon it'll warm up again and I will enjoy being outdoors more often. And so welcome to our channel. Please subscribe, tell people about it. And know that we are here for you. You have questions you want to ask of an archangel. And who knows you better than the archangels, all of them. I happen to be a channel for Raphael and have been working with him for probably all my life, but only aware of it for probably the last 60 years. So I'm in my 80s now, and so I am so delighted to do this for you, to have you write in, ask questions, or you can email me at angelbettyray@gmail.com and set up a time when we can give you a free reading. Okay. Now, we had started last week to talk about the new book that Raphael has come out with. It will be on Amazon, hopefully in a week or two. And it's called Ask Raphael. And there's a beautiful cover of an angel, and you will see it on Amazon. And it's on Kindle, so you can get the Kindle version. I'm so excited to be able to announce that. We have worked long and hard on it in putting together questions that Raphael and I have received through this radio show and TV show now. And we are so excited to bring it to you. It will be in paperback form. I'm not even sure what the cost is, but I'm sure it will be reasonable. And so please get either the ebook or the other book and then write comments. We so want to hear feedback on it. There's so much information in it. One friend of mine said that she's read the book already, and she said it has become her metaphysical Bible, because it has all of your questions answered in there. That's the whole idea. It's a question and answer book, a conversation between Raphael and myself. It's called Ask Raphael, and you can go on Amazon and purchase it. I hope this week. They told me it was going to be up this week. I'm so excited. I'd love to hear your feedback. Email me at angelbettyray@gmail.com. So for today, we're going to read from that book. Raphael has talked about his guiding principles, and we started doing this last week, and we're going to go now to guiding principle number 4, which is integrity. So I'm going to read to you what he says. Integrity means using your mind and intuition with honor and respect for yourself and for others. It has the intent to do good and do no harm. Integrity requires you, to be completely honest with yourself and with others. When you practice integrity, you begin to realize how powerful you are as a creator of your own world, and your influence on how this influences the rest of the world. Your integrity will not allow you to create even the slightest deception within yourself or toward others. You may also become aware of a lack of integrity in others. Your intuition will warn you not to trust anyone who lacks integrity. This means to avoid people who demonstrate a lack of work ethics, of not giving 100% of their attention to the job, or of leaving early but charging your employer for full time, or of taking things that belong to the boss and say they have, quote, earned it. Beware of these young souls, for they have not as yet experienced the consequences of their actions. Do not confide in them. Do not trust them in any way. Although this warning seems to go against the principle of trust, which we talked about before, it is clearly a matter of where and when to place your trust in others. Blind trust is for baby souls who will follow any leader until death for a cause, either good or bad. Blind trust will allow you to be swindled of your money, which in turn may be part of the divine plan for your life to balance another life where perhaps you may have swindled someone else. So integrity is something that if you have it, you don't have to think about it. If you don't have it, you'll get all kinds of repercussions that will come into your life that will bounce back at you, so to speak. When we talk about karma, I don't even like to use that word because it sounds like paybacks. It sounds like every time you come back to earth, you have to pay for your mistakes you made in the previous lifetime. No, 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 Raphael says. You are divinely loved and divinely created. You are a soul. And oh, dear ones, if you could see a soul like Raphael allows me to do, they're huge beings of light and they emanate sound and color. And so when we do a reading for anyone, that's the first thing Raphael shows me is your color of your soul. I see it as this huge beam of light, like a sunbeam through a forest, and it could have just lands down like a spotlight on a stage even. And the color is like there's like little tiny beads of light that is in this huge beam that could stand 8 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. It's magnificent. And every one of you has a soul. Isn't that exciting to think about it? You have this magnificent being that is telling your story. It created your story. It decided who it wanted to meet again in this lifetime. It invited those soul friends to come back and play a certain role, even the role of the bad guys, the ones who maybe are nasty to you or fire you or do something like that. After all, a story is never very interesting if it doesn't have a bad guy in it or some kind of challenge. Sometimes it even could be nature, and the challenge could be a tornado, and the whole story is wrapped around that experience. But there's always a challenge, and not just one, dear friends, as you know. There are many challenges throughout your life, and each moment that you are on this planet and you are in a sentient body that is easily hurt and oh gosh, and you have emotions that are easily hurt too. This package of emotions is not in your soul. It only experiences it when it takes on a physical being to explore a physical planet. So when your spirit leaves this physical body, its duplicate, it looks just like you, and goes to the other side through death. That's the only way that you can get to heaven is through death. It is the exit. I always call it the exit office, the highway of life. Everybody has to go through it. And it takes you to a heaven that is of your making. And so, everyone, please understand that. Oh, I think we might. Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you seeing the comments?
I'm seeing them to the right. It says, "Are you seeing the chat?" But I don't see anybody else.
That's the private chat.
Oh, where else
Check
would I find them?
comments.
Okay, I got to hit comments. I'm still new at this, dear ones. Oh, good. We've got new people here.
Scroll up the chat room so you can see from the top, and scroll down so you'll see all of them.
Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you, people, for coming in. Okay. Okay. Are you going to do a book launch for this book? Whoever asked this knows about book launches. Yes, we are. And that's why it's important that you please purchase the book or purchase the ebook and then send comments, because that helps us to do the book launch. So, okay. That is told several times. I remember you explained that, Rebel. Rebel is the engineer that works with me. She is an absolute genius, and I am so grateful to her for all her help, because I'm still such a novice at all of this. And I don't understand what why Don means. Why Don? Why Don? Why don't people take responsibility for their actions? Well, look at it this way. It's the soul that has the experience or not. If the soul is new to being in a physical body on a physical planet, it doesn't know the consequences of its choices. It's like a baby, a toddler. And you can tell a soul that is a toddler is because they have no principles whatsoever. They have no morals. Beginner souls have nada, no morals whatsoever. Those are infant souls. They come to the planet totally wide open, a wide open slate to experiment with everything. And only through their experiences and their choices do they begin to understand how the physical world works. They begin to understand that this physical world, Earth, has gravity, that they, in their spirit body, are so used to just taking off and going where they want to go. Not when you're in a physical body. You can't do that unless you know how to do astral traveling. And those people that know how to do that can seem to go into a deep slumber, and then they can lift their spirit out of their body and just go travel. That is a thing that you can do. Okay. I've got to scoop down here. I don't want to be talking all the time. Okay, question, good one. Does karma take lifetimes to work? Every lifetime, rather than thinking about karma, every lifetime is an opportunity for your soul to redo some of the things that it did in the previous lifetime that it didn't quite, it's like scratching its head. Why did that happen? They're saying to their angels and guides, and you'll say, okay, when we send you back, we'll show you why that happened. And we'll give you an experience to go through it again. But now you're going to be more aware of what happens when you do certain things, because now you have at least 1 or 2 lifetimes of experience. That's all it is. So karma is not coming back because you have to. It's coming back because your soul loves writing stories to have an actor play out on Earth's stage. And your soul creates the actor that is you. It's really much more exciting when you look at it from that point of view. You know, some people didn't really want to come back because maybe they had a bad lifetime before, they had a bad relationship, or they drowned, or, you know, phobias come because you had a sudden death, like you fell off a cliff. Okay, so now you're afraid of heights, or you drowned. So now you're afraid of water. That's where phobias come from the previous lifetime or death somewhere, that now you don't know why you have this phobia, but you do. And that's because of a previous lifetime. That's not karmic punishment in any way, but it's an energy that your soul brings back, that horrible experience. And so you are afraid of water, or you are afraid of heights. But the only way to get over that is to face it. And that is with everything. Anything that you're anxious about. I remember my son said that when he's anxious about something, he looks at all of the possible scenarios that could happen. And so he looks at the bad ones first. And if he can handle that, then he knows that when the good ones come, that scenario is a better choice. You have choices every day, hundreds of them to make. And just like me setting up for this studio, I had to move myself here and there just so you could see my angel in the background and my Christmas wreath as well. And so it's silly questions and silly things that we think about, but they're all important because I am so happy with my little Christmas bells. See, I'm looking at the wrong place over here. It's just the opposite when I'm looking at myself in this reflection. Okay, so here are my little hand knit Christmas bells that I like to wear to show that it is the holiday season. And the holiday season has to do with Hanukkah and many other celebrations that are for this particular season. Some people don't have any religious attachment to it. Other people wouldn't have a Christmas tree in their home if you paid them for it. So it's whatever you have experienced throughout your lifetimes that makes you believe as you do. Plus, when you came in, you took on the faith and the belief of your parents and your teachers and your religious leaders in your hometown or whatever it was. You are taking on the story of your character in this lifetime. You're the leading character. You're the star of your show. And that's where you have free will, dear ones. Raphael wants to remind you to be joyful because not only do you have free will, you have a whole range of emotions. And I'm going to say this again, I've said it many times before, that life is like a roller coaster ride. You get to choose how you're going to react to any situation. And you're going to choose it from a whole range of emotions, from the deepest, darkest despair up to the most brilliant light of joy. You get to choose where you are on that roller coaster ride, and you can get to where you want to be in a sense of peace and harmony and joy and putting a smile on your face, even when you feel like crying. But you put a smile on your face and you are determined to make this day the best day of your life. And how do you do that? You do that by raising your emotional barometer out of the anxiety that puts tension in your shoulders and puts anxiety in your gut. You take a deep breath and you say, "Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you that all my needs are met this day and every day of my life." And use that as what we call a mantra, a prayer that you would say every morning, thanking God for the new day. And even if you have to lay in bed a little bit longer to get the creaks out of your joints, you'll still get up with a smile on your face, and that alone will make your day better. It's your choice which bag of emotions you're going to carry around. If you're going to carry around all the dark, negative emotions about, oh, this person did this to me and that person did that to me, then you're going to carry a lot of heavy load on. So, okay, I'm going back to our wonderful questions here. So, does karma take lifetimes to work out? Let's look at karma as simply the choice of your soul to come back and act on Earth's stage. Don't think of it as having to pay back. It isn't. It's your soul telling another story. All right. Okay, so if people go traveling in their spirit body, the question is where they travel to. Wherever they want to. They can go and check out Mars, or they can go and stand on the moon for a while, or they can go visit a friend and see how they're doing. So here we go. I think we're down to it. I got more questions here. I think I've gotten all down to the bottom. There are more questions? So, all right. I don't see any more. So I'm going to keep on then. So the question is where they travel to, where you travel to wherever you want to go. When you sleep at night, you automatically leave your body in your exact duplicate. You look just like yourself. And if anybody were to see you, they would think it was your ghost because that's what it looks like. You're transparent, but you're still you, wearing whatever you wore to bed that night. And if you wore nothing and you find yourself naked and you go, oh, wow, you can suddenly put yourself in some pajamas. It is nothing to be afraid of, dear friends. Astral traveling is the esoteric word for it, and it means it has to do with the stars. that you can travel to the stars and back if you want to. So it is a thing to understand that is so amazing, is that everybody, everything, every animal, every bird has to sleep because they need to get out of that body and just kind of stretch a bit. Every animal, every bird, every human being does that. And so, dear friends, don't be afraid, but every time you go to sleep, that's why God planned it that way. It's like this is when God can charge up our batteries and heal our body, because dream research has shown that when we get to the deepest part of sleep, when we are practically comatose and our brain waves are practically at zero, every 90 minutes, at the bottom of the 90 minutes, we do that. We get so quiet that that's when God can repair our bodies. That's why sleep is so important. So at least 90 minutes, an hour and a half, a couple of those will rejuvenate you and give you a new charge for the day. And again, I have to laugh because it is like we're being charged up, that God is with us and charges our batteries every night so that the next day we can get up and we can say, thank you, God, that all my needs are met this day and every day of my life. Okay, I'm ready for more questions. And where are they? Here they go. Okay, are you getting this information from science? That's a really good question. You see, science and spirituality are coming together more and more. They are beginning to understand that they want to know where consciousness is. And they've been trying to figure out how it's hidden in the body. Is it in the brain? Is it in the emotions? But now they're coming closer and closer together to understand that we have what's called a higher consciousness. And that's where we have our true self, our soul. So science is not where I learned this. I learned this by studying metaphysical books. That means beyond the physical. And so I studied a lot of, not astrology. I tried to study astrology and it went in one ear and took a highway out the other one. And when I asked Raphael why I couldn't remember anything, even the astrological chart, which is where and who is what, nothing would stick in my head until Raphael finally said, Ray, we want you empty-headed. And I said, what? And burst out laughing. Because when we do readings for you, it isn't me, Betty Ray, that talks to you. It's Raphael. And if I'm trying to figure out their astrological chart or their numerical whatevers, then it's Betty Ray doing it. And Raphael doesn't want me in there. So when I do a reading for you, all I do is lower my brain waves like I'm going to sleep. I go into a semi-trance state. For those of you that have been watching me on my YouTube videos, by the way, don't hesitate to go to them. It's Ask Raphael / Betty Ray. And you'll see where I go into a trance state. And what I do is I lower my brain waves like I'm asleep. And then Raphael my spirit leaves my body. And it's like a little orb over here on the side of my head. It just sort of hovers there until Raphael is done. Raphael enters and speaks using my voice. He can get up and walk around. And he is not a he. He's an it. So, dear friends, my joy is given to me by the privilege I have of being a channel for the Archangel Raphael. And I am sharing this with you in my 86th year. Can you believe that? I am 86 years old on this planet. And so many blessings have been given to me throughout all those years. I was a music teacher. I taught 2-year-olds through high school age music, vocal music. I wasn't a band director. I was a vocal music teacher. And so in going back to here, where do you get this information? From science? No. I get it from learning how to open up my inner senses of sight, inner sight, where I can get a vision. And if you go to my webpage, you will see the rug that I was given through a vision. And you can see how it was created in my mind. Excuse me. That's inner sight. I did not hear a word or a sound. I just saw the picture and I was shown how to do this unique kind of rug hooking. It's called primitive and traditional rug hooking. You use a little crochet hook and it's in a wooden handle. And you take the crochet hook and you take old wool skirts and slacks, cut them up into little strips, and then you take a piece of monk's cloth or of whatever, rug warp and so forth, stretch it over a thing like a embroidery hoop, and then you bring those loops up and you make loops, and you just keep making loops. It's like coloring with wool. So when you see that, that started with a vision. That's your inner sight. You get ideas and you'll get a picture, and then it might take you 15 minutes to use words to describe that picture that came in a snap like that. That's your inner sight. Then you have your inner knowing. That's called claircognizant. Inner sight is called clairvoyance. And you have clairsentient. And that, I'm showing my gut because your hand is down here by your gut. That's your inner feeling or inner sensing. A lot of people have that more than they have inner sight or anything else. But the idea is you need to open up all those inner channels, because then you have creativity. You start doing things, it just pops in your mind and you go, oh, that's a great idea. Next thing you know, you might be painting a picture, or you might be crocheting or knitting, something you've never done before. Open up those inner senses. This is the time to do it. So, no, it doesn't come from science. Science, well, let's put it this way. My youngest son is a molecular genetic scientist. He is also extremely intuitive. He will tell me he's a scientist first, but he gets his ideas for the formulas that he is going to create. And he's now working on, I don't know if he is for sure, but he said he was trying to get a grant for the virus, to get a formula for the virus. And I haven't talked to him lately, so I don't know if he's still working on that. But he is also very intuitive, and you cannot do anything really well if it's just science. You have to incorporate it with the intuition and the ideas that God sends to you. And it comes in a flash, in a picture, in a just an idea. Ideas are, how do you talk about an idea? It's abstract. Okay. So to answer your question, have you ever shown this rug you are talking about? It's on my webpage, and that my webpage is Angel Betty Ray, ANDRAPHAEL. And you'll not only see this rug I'm talking about, but you'll see several others. I have an 11-foot rug in my dining room that I designed and created. It's absolutely amazing. I'm amazed. There's no pride or humility in this. There's absolute joy that God inspired me to just jump in and do an 11-foot rug by 7 foot. In fact, it was 12 by 9. And I had to cut it back because when I moved out of my big house in Michigan, I knew it would not fit in any other home I would have. And so, again, I have so many stories I could tell you about how I hear. For example, 3 years ago, I've been in this house now for 3 years. 3 years ago, I heard move. I heard the words, clairaudient, it's called. And I just kind of looked and said, move? Where? Why? I love it here. I was living in Brooksville at the time, and I really loved where I was living, and I loved the friends that I had around me. But I kept hearing the word move. I kept getting the idea to move. I finally started looking at houses and couldn't find anything nearby. And then I found this house that I'm in now. I absolutely love it. I've just opened up the back acreage, and I now have a medicine wheel back there. I have a labyrinth that I've put together. I've actually had a young man work all day to put it together. And it's now going to be a meditation center. This is why I was told to move. I couldn't have done this there. I was only on a tiny piece of land, and I didn't own the land, so they wouldn't have let me do that. So here I am in Florida, where I wanted to be, And now I am where God wants me to be. And now I'm creating this wonderful meditation center where people can come, they can walk the labyrinth and be inspired, get ideas, get visions. They can go back to the medicine wheel and learn about the Native American form of healing, that it was for shamans to heal people. And I've seen it already working. It's just a bunch of stones in a circle, and I have a big, beautiful crystal in the middle. So, following that divine inspiration is what we're talking about. And it is something that you are constantly doing as well, dear friends. You are constantly getting, I'm going to see if I have other questions. How does your friend tell you to refer to them? How does your friend tell you? I'm not sure. Was whoever wrote that, would they clarify what we're saying? I'm checking to see if I have any. Okay, so let me ask that question again. How does your friend tell you to refer to them? Oh, my friend, Raphael, is that who you're talking about? Well, like I'm telling you, I get ideas. They don't always come in words. In fact, most of the time they don't. So if I were to say to you the word tree, immediately you got a picture in your mind. It could be any kind of a tree, but just for now, hold that picture in your mind and write down if you can. General natural is not referred to as it. Well, thank you. What would you suggest I call the angels who are neither male nor female? He, she, it is the only thing that came to my mind. So I would love if you have something else. Of course, you can call them spirit, you call them angels. I just want you to know that oftentimes we see angels as female bodies. They can have that as the way you want to see them, but that's not. They're pure spirit. They are a beam of light, just as your soul is a beam of light, it's pure spirit. And it just happened to wear this garment for a little while on planet Earth. So gender natural is not referred to as it. Okay, give me a suggestion, and I will be happy to do that. I'm scrolling down to see if there's anything else I've missed. Okay, I think I've gotten all that caught up with. So what I'm talking about is you have all these inner senses that you can do so much that you didn't know you could do. All of these beautiful rugs that we have created have been, I say we, because it's always God and me and the angels. They give me the inspiration. I just sort of listen to how to do it. And when I got the first idea for this first rug, I drew it on just a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. I just sketched it. It had a circle in the middle that had the star signs, astrological signs around it. And in the middle, it had earth, air, fire, and water, a picture of that. And then around that, it had all these flowers. And then around that, I had the sun and the moon and a rainbow and a yin yang. Those are all symbols, because when I do readings for people, I often get pictures and they are symbolic of something in their life. Or sometimes I see some kind of a figurine or something in your home. I've had that happen. I've never been to your home before, but I see it. I remember Raphael and I did a reading for a doctor one time, and we were at a convention, and he was there, and he asked for a reading. And I described his car perfectly to him because he travels so much to do these lectures that he does. And then he wanted me to call his daughter. So we got on the phone and we called his daughter. And I was able to show that she was really interested in being a comedian. And I was right on. And I don't mean to say I, because it's we. I get the information from Raphael. Raphael sees this person, and this person just, the soul is available for Raphael to see the soul and all of the things that are wonderful about that soul. This is what we do, dear friends, and we aren't charging for it anymore. You get to get one free. You get to have the Archangel do this free. And that's because all these years that I have been doing this, I am so grateful for this experience in my life that I'm now giving it back. And so don't hesitate to, okay, your friend you are talking about is not a person. The friend I'm talking about is the Archangel Raphael. He's a green energy because he's the healing energy. That's what all people come to understand. Raphael is here to heal the planet and to heal souls on the planet. That's his purpose. And that's why apparently I agreed before I even came here that I would be his channel, that I'd be his telephone. I simply hear the Raphael and I tell you what I hear. Well, another person is confused as well. Can you tell us what you are talking about? Okay, I'm going to go down. If you've never experienced channeling, that's what this show is all about. I am a channel for the Archangel Raphael. I bring to you an archangel's wisdom, not Betty Ray's wisdom, an archangel's wisdom. And I'm reading to you from the book that we have collaborated together. It's a question and answer book. And I'm reading to you about integrity today. It's one of Raphael's guiding principles that are in the book. And the book will be available on Amazon. It has a beautiful cover now that we finally settled on with an angel on it. And it just says, Ask Raphael. That's what the title of the book is. And it's all questions and answers. And so please go to Amazon. I hope it'll be there this week or next week at the latest. And yes, I wrote a book about this being of light. And it isn't about Raphael. It's Raphael, the archangel, answering your questions. The people from the radio show that have been with me now, this is 3 years, they've been asking questions. And all of the questions are in the book and being answered by the Archangel. You can buy the book on Amazon. You can get the ebook on Amazon. It's probably only 99 cents. So do that. And please give me feedback, what you got. Okay, yes, I've written many books. There's another book that Raphael channeled through me. It's called Letters from a Guardian Angel. You can also get that on my webpage, Angel Betty Ray and Raphael, because some people spell Raphael differently, .com. That's on my webpage. You can see the books. That's called Letters from a Guardian Angel and Life in 3 Dimensions. Those are 2 books that Raphael has channeled. And now this new one that's coming out, it's called Ask Raphael. We'll be writing a book again with the more questions that come in. I'll keep track of them, but if you get this, you might get your questions answered just by reading this book. But I do have other books out that Raphael has inspired me to write. They're called a novel, a story. It's not about my life, even though it may seem like it, because it's about a young woman who talks to her guardian angel, just like I've been doing for all my life. And so it's called the Anita Lynn series. It's called Soulmates and Angels. Got that? Soulmates and Angels. I've got 2 books out in that. The first and the second version. There's supposed to be 4 in the series, at least 4. I'm working on the 3rd one right now. You see, once you open up to your angels and guides, the information and the exciting things to do just go through you. And you get so excited that before you know it, you're painting a picture, or you're learning to knit, or you're learning to build a birdhouse. Who knows? Okay. We ask you questions and it gets you to put in a book. That's what's happened in this one particularly. So if I write another question and answer, and I probably will, because once you read the first one, you're still going to have questions. So don't hesitate to mail them to me. I don't always have these questions that I can go back and look at, but you can email them to me if you have questions that you would like to see answered. And in fact, I will answer them right there for you. I will go into my trance state and allow Raphael to speak through me. How can we hear the signs to know what they mean? You don't hear signs, you see signs. And sometimes a bird will give you the answer to a question. Birds have, should I say, a story to tell. We all know the blue bird represents happiness, right? A blue jay kind of always represents to me somebody who chatters all the time, because blue jays have a really annoying kind of a caw. And blackbirds, some people think of them as evil, but they're not. They're all God's creations. Nothing is evil. And so everything that's in your life, like the angel behind me, I keep going the wrong way. The angel behind me, I was inspired when I was doing whole life expos when my first book came out, which is no longer in print. But my first book came out, and I was inspired to go to these whole life expos, give readings, and have a booth to sell my book. And that angel was one I had made out of cloth and used Velcro and put it on looked like a blue suede background. It was beautiful. And it was come play with the angels in gold letters across the top. That was what we had for the backdrop for my booth. And I'm telling you, I did not advertise at all when I went to these expos. And they were in Chicago, in Baltimore. I even went to Denver, Colorado, went to Cleveland, Ohio. I drove to the ones that were close, and I flew to Denver. And I would set up my booth and I would do readings. This is why I have such a large mailing list of people, because I've been around a while doing this. But that angel that was only just made out of cloth, I took it at my husband's suggestion to a stained glass artist. And he took that picture exactly as it was, except he added that yellow halo and created that wonderful angel for me. It was my husband's idea. He was inspired by his angel to say, why don't we do this? And I blessed him for that, because it's just been such a blessing to see that wonderful angel hanging there. Now, the reason why you're seeing it in a window is like that was the third bedroom in the house. And this room I'm in was a back porch that was built on, and then it was built in. So it's really an extra room now. It has heating and everything in it. But this is where I hold my studio. Okay, are there any other? Did you put our personal information in the reading if we get a reading? Oh, I don't put anybody's personal information. I might use an example of somebody's life, but you have all privacy. I would never use names or anything that would identify you. Please understand that. And then a question, I love your questions. Was this the first husband and the second one? When I talk about my husband, I talk about my husband, Joe, who was an industrial pipe fitter, and he was my second husband. He was just such a blessing to me. He never questioned, even though he was a scientist-minded kind of person, he never questioned. When he sat in on a reading one time, I got permission from the client that came, just so he could see what it was like. And when we got done and the client was gone, I asked him, well, what do you think? And he said, kind of like scratching his head, he said, I don't know how you do what you do, but keep on doing it. And I've kept on doing it. And now I'm giving it away free. I charged, and people thought it was pretty cheap, $75 an hour at one time. And I no longer charge, because I have such joy in my heart giving these readings to people. It benefits me. It's healing for me, because the joy and the love that comes through from Raphael, well, you have to experience it. It's amazing. You're lifted up. You feel good when you're done. There's never any criticism. Never, Raphael never uses coulds, shoulds, or oughts. Never blames. No, you have to experience it. The angel's energy is wonderful. And angelbettyray@gmail.com. And you can just email me. We'll set up a time when we can do a reading with you. It's free. And again, this new book out is Ask Raphael. It's on Amazon. You can get the Kindle version, or you can buy the book. And I'm so excited to bring it to you. It's been a long time. Okay, if I missed any questions, so I've answered that. Can you give messages to people from their past over loved ones? Absolutely. I'm not a medium. That's what it's called. People that talk to spirits. That's not me. And I'm not a psychic. That's not me. It's Raphael who speaks through me, because he's got all that knowledge. And again, I call him a he. because that's just what I've given with the name Raphael. It seems like a he. Anyway, so when you call, I set up the technicalities of it. We set up a time, we set up the phone call, and then when we connect, I always begin with a prayer asking God's permission to open up and look at your soul. And then Raphael just takes it over from there. So don't hesitate, angelbettyray@gmail.com. Very, very simple. So can you tell people what is going to happen for them? No, we don't. We're not psychics. We don't. I say we because Raphael and I are not into predicting things. We can tell you, according to your mindset about something, how you are projecting into the future. And I have to tell you, if you're projecting fear into the future or anxiety in any way, shape, or form, if you don't change your mind and start rejoicing in all the good that has been given to you, you can predict your future yourself. What you fear most, you will likely experience. We talked about in the beginning about having phobias. The best way to overcome a past lifetime tragic ending is to realize that, first of all, you are a soul who's only wearing this physical body for a short period of time. And once you are finished with that overcoat, that body, you go back into your beautiful soul form. You don't die. And when you go to the other side, you get to see those you love. And even in your dreams, you can go to the other side and talk to people. I remember I talked to my mother in a dream. The dream came through. She was scolding me. We were on the telephone, and she was scolding me because I never called her. I never tried to talk to her on the other side and just didn't think about it. And so I have been much more respectful of those who have passed over, and I will talk to them, and I will love them, and I will tell them that I appreciate all their prayers and all their help and watching over me and so on. I appreciate those who have passed on that love me because I know they're still loving me over there. And so if you've had a bad relationship with somebody that has crossed over, you can heal that relationship by simply loving them, not forgiving them, but being what God has created you to be. And that is love, peace, harmony, joy. You are that. Whatever you are wearing for this overcoat, you are really the joy and the peace and the harmony that is God when you allow God to come through you. When you trust that God is a loving God, that God does not punish ever. You, in your thinking, when you have negative thoughts, you're projecting them out there like on a screen of your future. Whoa, pull back anything negative. Cancel. I said that one time, and the person I was talking to who said, "You mean delete?" And I realized they were more computer literate than I was. So, yes, pay attention to your thoughts, dear friends. Pay attention and know that you are a creator. God created you with a mind, with a soul, with a spirit, all to bring those forces together to create whatever you are inspired to create. And if you get some kind of a negative idea, you just sort of go, get out of here. Keep a smile on your face even when your face is covered with a mask. Your eyes will twinkle and people will be blessed as you walk by them. I have no hesitation to go to Walmart or go to my grocery store. I wear a mask and I am careful with my hands and making sure I don't put anything at my face. I go out and I urge you to pay attention to the needs of your soul by listening deeply inside yourself, asking the archangels, all of them. The four major ones are Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. They are all there to help you. All you have to do is call on them. Okay. So can you tell people what is going to happen? pretty much we can say what their thoughts are bringing to them, because you are the creator of your life. So Raphael will do that. I can remember showing somebody they were going to move, and I actually saw their house. And so I talked about it. And it was, I don't know how much later, I think it was 4 years later, when the person came to my house in Michigan. And that person had taped the reading, and she said she didn't believe anything I had said at the time. But here she was back 4 years later to say that everything Raphael had said had come true. So we aren't predicting that anything in the future will come true, because that depends on you. If you have something you want to create, you focus on it with this mind of yours, with this inner tuition, this inner ability to see it first. This is what I have, a lot of that intuition and that clairvoyance. I see pictures. And my friends laugh at me because I like to move furniture around. Well, after hurting my back, I had to quit doing that. And so I ask for help now. I don't try to move furniture around, but I love to change the energy in my house. When the energy gets stale in your house, go through and move your knickknacks around. Go through and use some sage. Light the sage until it makes a smoke, and go through and sage the energy of your house. It's like bringing through all kinds of fresh air. And particularly because in the wintertime, you're coked up in the house and you don't get that fresh air in. I hope you do open your windows, though, now and then, because you really need that fresh air. But the point is, move things around, because the energy gets stuck. And sometimes if you got a lot of clutter, it really gets stuck. So get a book on feng shui, Fungshui. This is the Chinese understanding of energy and how it flows in your house. And so look it up. It's wonderful information. It'll make a world of difference in your house. You will feel it. You will just feel buoyant once you get the negative old energy out of your house. Oh, okay, where are we now? More questions, everybody. I don't know how much time we have. How are we doing? I think we're getting close to the end. How much time do we have?
We are out of time, past time.
Out of time. Oh, God bless all of you. Please subscribe to our channel. Please tell people about it. And God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we'll talk to you next week. Take care now. Wear a mask. Be safe. Bye.